Political survival is often measured in months or years. But what happens when a leader manages to dominate a democracy for an entire decade while facing multiple criminal indictments? That's exactly what we're diving into today with Benjamin Netanyahu's remarkable story.
You know, what's fascinating is how he managed to stay in power through 5 elections in just 4 years. That's unprecedented in Israeli history.
And not just any elections, we're talking about campaigns where he completely rewrote the political playbook. Take that 2015 comeback. He shocked everyone by directly challenging President Obama, speaking to Congress without White House approval. That's something no foreign leader had ever dared to do before.
Hmm. And that gamble with Congress actually paid off when Trump took office, right?
Oh man, did it ever. Trump basically handed Netanyahu a political jackpot, moving the U.S. embassy to Jerusalem, recognizing Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. But here's where it gets really interesting. While he's scoring these diplomatic wins abroad, he's pushing through this incredibly controversial nation-state law at home.
That law really changed everything, didn't it? Making Hebrew the only official language and declaring national self-determination as exclusively Jewish.
Right. And then he pulls off this complete pivot with the Abraham Accords in 2020. Here's a leader who's just passed this nationalist law, and suddenly he's making peace with Arab states. That's the kind of political flexibility that defined his era.
Well, that's what makes those corruption cases so fascinating. How did he manage to spin 3 separate criminal indictments into a narrative about being persecuted by the deep state?
That's exactly what made Netanyahu such a unique figure. He took these serious charges, the champagne and cigars from billionaires, the media manipulation deals, that billion-shekel telecom scandal, and turned them into a rallying cry for his base. By 2022, he's back in power with the most right-wing coalition in Israeli history.
And then launches this massive judicial overhaul that brings hundreds of thousands of protesters into the streets.
Until October 7th, 2023, changes everything. The Hamas attack kills 1,200 Israelis, and suddenly this leader, who built his reputation on security, faces the worst intelligence failure in the country's history. But even then, he manages to maintain his core support.
So, looking at his legacy, what do you think this means for democracy in Israel and beyond?
You know, that's the crucial question. Netanyahu showed how a democratic leader can systematically weaken institutions while maintaining popular support. He normalized extreme positions, personalized politics around himself, and created social divisions that will take generations to heal.
And yet he also achieved historic peace deals and transformed Israel's position in the region.
Exactly. And that's what makes his legacy so complex. He strengthened Israel's diplomatic position while weakening its democratic foundations. By 2025, Israeli society was more polarized than ever, with every issue filtered through this lens of, are you with Bibi or against him?
Sounds like he wrote a masterclass in political survival, but at what cost?
Well, that's going to be the question that defines Israel's future. Can these democratic institutions recover? Can Israeli society find common ground again? Whatever happens next, the Netanyahu decade will be studied as a textbook case of how personality-driven politics can transform and potentially threaten democratic systems.